Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to this YASH Technology hosted webinar. Subject today is SAP Cloud ALM. My name is Lee Meakin. I'm Sales Director here at YASH Technologies. I've been in the industry for 20 plus years across multiple different sectors, multiple different verticals. I'm pleased to welcome you here today. On the panel today, we have a couple of gentlemen who I will let them introduce themselves. They'll be running some demos for us. Just in the interest of time, if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask the questions in the chat panel at the bottom of your screen. We will be having a Q&A session at the end of the webinar where we do have some questions that have come in prior to the webinar via email. So I'll be asking those questions at the end, but like I say, please feel free to ask some questions as we move through the demos. So Mahesh, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. Thanks for setting the stage. So hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon and good evening as per your time zones. My name is Mahesh. So I work for YASH Technologies as a senior solution architect. So I take care of the solution, building part as, the pre-sale, and also I does the project management for the customers who are based in UK and Ireland for YASH. Come with around 18 years of SAP functional experience as well as the project management experience. So thank you all. Looking forward to discuss more about the CALM in this session. Rakesh, over to you.
Thank you. Hi everyone. This is Rakesh. I am a GTM lead for SAP ALM working at YASH since more than 7 years. And I'm having more than 13 years of experience into the SAP, expertise into the SAP ALM, both solution management and cloud ALM, and some other like significant technologies. I'm going to talk on operations modules of cloud ALM today. Yeah.
Thank you, Rakesh.
Guys. So yeah, if you want to proceed with, so we've done the introductions. If you want to proceed with the overview, then that would be great. Then we're obviously we're going to move on to implementation and operations management. And like I previously mentioned, there's a Q&A session at the end.
Yep. Thanks, Lee. So we just done with introduction. So let me talk through the overview and the implementation, how the CALM tool is leveraged to and accelerate your digital transformations through SAP S/4HANA, solutions and other SAP, the platforms, right? And I'll hand it over to my colleague Rakesh, who will walk you through the operations part of the CALM. So having said that, moving on to, this is general overview about an application lifecycle management tool, right? So if we talk about any application lifecycle management tool, what typically business expects is it should help to get the, the templates in place. It should minimize the number of tasks or the manual intervention in the tool. So which helps them to speed up and accelerate their transformations, accelerate the go lives, and helps to minimize the disruptions in terms of continuously, watching the solution, the application's health, etc. Right, and also it doesn't have to invest, huge amount on different tools when you are implementing your solution or operating your solution. So it should help you to reduce the overall cost of ownership as well. And so in that way, the ALM typical and expectation from the business should be, it should help to, implement an application, and also it should help to monitor the health and continuously give the alerts about the application during the operations phase, right? So moving on to the next slide. So now we are going deep dive into the SAP Cloud ALM. So what it is all about. So SAP Cloud ALM, the full form is Cloud Application Lifecycle Management Tool. So it is a new offering from SAP. It's completely cloud native application. So when you subscribe for your SAP S/4HANA Cloud, either it could be a public or private, or if you are subscribing for any other SAP applications like SuccessFactors or Ariba, so on and so forth. This is by default comes as a standard bundle. This is one of the tenant or instance, you can say, which is readily available. You don't have to spend extra cost to subscribe for the Cloud ALM. And the good part of this solution, this application is you don't have to, uh, position a separate consultant like what we used to do in the solution manager. You don't have to, position a consultant who can help you build, set up the CLM. So it is readily available. It's a kind of a, plug and play solution. The project team can readily use this. All that business has to do is when they receive the tenant information, they just have to go to SAP for me and provision the Cloud ALM solution. That's all you need to do. It's readily available. Everything is completely available. No extra configuration is required. So that is the high level background of the Cloud ALM. And moving on to the this Cloud ALM, how this tool is leveraged in the implementation side of it, right? So as I was saying, this is this solution is readily available. You don't have to reinvent the wheel in setting up a lot of configuration, setting up a lot of activities in terms of the hardware. You don't have to do all that. So it is readily available. It really helps you quickly onboard a project. You can create a project quickly and allocate the team members. You can create the team members into the Cloud ALM instance, and you can fastly turn or switch on the all the best practice content within the Cloud ALM solution. So when we talk about best practice solution, all these scopes which you have already agreed upon during your discovery phase can be quickly switched on, and all the content is readily available for you to conduct next level workshops in the explore phase. We'll try to do a little deep down in the further slides, and also we have a demo planned how these tasks operations and the scope requirements, everything is managed in the solution, right? Moving on to the next slide. So as I was saying, so when we say about best practice is already readily available for you to quickly run in the fit to standard workshops. So when we talk about the Cloud ALM, since it's a cloud solution, it is completely aligned or built on the SAP Activate methodology approach. You can completely handle SAP Activate from the project management perspective by using the CALM tool. So when I say content driven implementation, so the content related to the best practice is readily available, as I was mentioning. So all that you need to do is just select the scope IDs. So most of you know how SAP S/4HANA scope IDs and processes works, right? So each of the process will have its own ID and the description. So when you activate the scope, you will see all the scope IDs, the content, processes, the information or tests scripts related to those scope IDs will by default will be coming into the system. So you can drive your fit to standard workshops by just opening the CALM tool and run through these process diagrams, descriptive information about the process diagram, and take the requirement or identify the gap from the implementation. So moving on to the next slide. So this is just a high level introduction when we talk about the build of the solution by using CALM. So in any application tool, we look for the tool should be able to help us in design, build, test, and deploy the solution what we are trying to build and the position for the project, right? So we'll just see how in detail how these four pillars of the project are completely achieved using CALM solution. So So as I said, CLM is completely cloud native. So when you are designing, when you design a solution, the best practices are completely available. You can just run through the fit to standard workshops by opening the CALM tool, running through the process diagrams, and if there are any requirement coming up within that, the fit to standard workshops underneath a process, you can log and track those requirements within the cloud ALM. And of course, when it comes to the project management, how you are managing the project activities, it also works as a scheduling tool. You can create your own tasks, and also SAP gives number of several tasks which are very relevant for the kind of a project you are doing. Okay, so those tasks are readily available. Most of the team, you don't have to reinvent unless you have a project specific task. And you can also see a Gantt chart and different views, and you can also monitor your critical path by using the task management of the tool. And it has its own test suite where you can create your test scripts, integrate your test suite with any other test automation tools. You can plan your test management, you can log the defects. In that way, you can completely ensure the quality of the solution which you are building. And of course, on the deployment side, it helps aid in the transportation movement, and the complete traceability of audit trails, etc. So these are the very key important values or value adds which CALM brings onto the table. This is a broader view, one bird's eye view of the complete CALM, what it is capable of, right? So right from onboarding a project team, setting up a project, and as I said, it is completely aligned with SAP Activate methodology, where you can also create the time boxes for each of your phases, right from your prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. So each of the phases can be time boxed. Tasks can be differentiated between one phase of the project to another phase. Requirements also can be differentiated, captured accordingly. And as I said, from the project management perspective, it gives a lot of insights on the analytics, and it supports your sprint planning. When you are talking about agile implementation, you should be able to plan your releases and sprints. You should be able to prepare different user stories and assign those user stories to your the the tasks, or to the requirements, or the underneath a new process you are building up, so you can create a user stories as well. And as I said, test, from the test suite perspective, you have entire functionality of test planning, test preparation. And there are standard test cases which SAP gives as part of the best practices. You can pretty much leverage those standard best practice test cases, or it also allows you to create your own test case if you are building your own process, right? And also in the design, yes, as I said multiple times, the fit to standard workshops, the fit gap analysis we typically call. So you can run through this tool and capture the requirements of the business. Then also deploy, it helps in deploy in multiple ways, in terms of handling, managing the release management. So this is the bird's eye view of what the CALM tool is capable of. Now we will highly just touch base upon what are the different integrations or other capabilities this CALM tool have, right? So probably you might have heard about SAP Signavio. This is Signavio is widely used application or tool for the process mapping, process management. And if you want to integrate SAP Signavio process management with the process management available within the CLM, you can do that. There are standard APIs available in the CLM application, where you can integrate the different systems through an API. The communication flow can happen. Say example, if you want to integrate your testing, so say example, Tricentis is one of the test automation tool. If you want to send the script to Tricentis, execute there and record the result back in Cloud ALM, record the bugs in the Cloud ALM, so you can do that. So those are still available. And if you talk about task management, so if you want to send the tasks from the Cloud ALM to any other systems, right, or if you want to receive the tasks created in a other system to CLM system vis-a-vis, that can be possible through the the API route. So these are the other capabilities in terms of the integration, technical integration of the CALM solution. Moving on to the fit to standard workshops, I think I have discussed this fit to standard workshops. You can just run through this tool, and if you find any process gap, you can log those process gaps within the tool itself. And in terms of the requirements management, so the process management, requirement management, test management, and even of course the task management are tightly integrated with each other. So you have complete visibility, complete traceability of your requirement, right from you identify that requirement under a process till it deployed into the production. So this is a snapshot of how the requirements management is managed in the CALM tool. Moving on to the other slide. So this is about the analytics, what is available today in the CALM. So if you are using CALM, how you are going to report the project status to the different stakeholders. So you don't need to prepare a separate presentations to go to your project meetings. So everything is available here in the Cloud ALM tool. It gives a lot of insights about your status of the project, rack status, the task status, the test status. So there are a lot of things which are available, and it allows also you to customize some of your analytical requirements, right? So this is about the complete background about CALM from the implementation side, how it is leveraged. So we will quickly give you a high level demonstration. So in the interest of the time, we are unable to record or run through every process, but we wanted to touch base on very few important the processes. Like now we will talk you through the task management, how a task management is handled in the CALM tool. So if you see, this is the launchpad of the CALM tool. You see the different menus, implementation, operations, etc. And so we are just going into the implementation section. Under implementation, you have task management as a section. So within that, you can create your tasks under a project for a scope, and you can also create tasks under specific time boxes, right? So example, the time box, when I say time box, it is about the different phases of the project, right? As per the activate methodology. So you can create task manually, or you can also upload the tasks automatically, or you can also integrate. So now for the demonstration purpose, we are creating a sample, one of the sample task here. So maybe you can give a short description. It allows certain characters, and if you have a detailed description, you can give in the box there. And the tasks can be subdivided, decomposed into multiple tasks, and you can also assign a user stories there. And the additional information or the details of the task you can maintain, like what is the status of the task, whether it's open or progress, and what is the priority of the task. And you can also mention about the different things, like how much effort it is going to take, and it belongs to which solution process. And if you are planning for releases, right? So if which release this tasks is belong to. As I said, your CLM tool completely helps align with the your sprint and agile planning. So you can give all this. So this task start and end date, having the predecessors given, will definitely form a Gantt chart view, and also it gives a you can also able to monitor your critical path of the project. So with all these tasks defined, and good part is you don't have to create tasks on your own, like manually. There are a lot of tasks which SAP gives by default as part of the standard SAP roadmap. Your tasks will be available. Yeah, so that is about task management. We will walk you through the scope management. So when we say scope management, so again, we are back to the launchpad, and under implementation you have the different options where you can go and see the scope management. So first thing we will do usually is create a scope, basically. So you can mention the scope of the project. So whatever you are managing, all the processes will be underneath this underneath this scope, basically, right? And if you see, a lot of scopes, standard scopes are available. Now in this case I am implementing SAP S4 HANA say public cloud version. So if you are implementing different version or private cloud or Ariba, you can select that scope. So what happens when I select this is all the scenarios, right, the best practices SAP gives will by default come and sit under that particular scope which you have already created. Now SAP gives this lot of scopes, right? If you see here, 800 plus scopes or scope IDs are SAP is already provisioned with. And if you want to restrict it by country where you are implementing, you can still do that. All that project manager or an architect has to do is switch on the scope or the process IDs which is applicable to them. So how they are going to get it? Probably they are going to get it through their statement of work or the digital discovery assessment what they have already agreed with the customer. So you just need to go and activate those scope IDs. So that's it. So once you activate, every scope ID have a process underneath it. So it is tightly coupled. The scope, process, tasks are tightly coupled, as I was telling earlier, right? Now let us see the process management. So when you complete creating the scope, so you can go on to the process management and see how it looks like. So this is where we were talking about fit to standard workshop. Now you define the scope and you went on to a fit to standard workshops during the explore phase. So as a consultant, what individual consultant or a solution architect or an SME has to do is he or she has to just log into the CLM application, and the scope is already defined, the processes are already intact there, available. So they just need to open the each of these the process. And if you see, we have some of the processes already available here. For the demonstration purpose, we have only taken very few limited solution processes under the scope what we have already defined. So you can just expand, say example, in the fit to stand workshop you are talking about accounts and financial closure. J58 is one of your workshop the content. uh, then you can just see, open it, and you can just run through. You don't have to prepare a different presentation or a flow chart again to go to the workshop and make the business understand how the best practice works for the accounting and financial closure. So everything is available. So you see the lot of overview, lot of the descriptive content is given here. These diagrams can be completely downloadable. You can even download if you are preparing a documentation separately out of this, though it is not really required. But if your project demands, you can download this and prepare your own document, blueprint document. And it also has within this process, when you are running, if there is a requirement you come across, you can log that requirement. If you see here, you can create a requirement. Somebody may ask, do you need something else, something, a step to be added here? So you can log that requirement here. So now if you are observing how the requirements and process and scope are tightly integrated and visible and traceable within the project, right? So these are all the different things you can do within the scope management. You can also do some documentation here, attach those documentation here. So these all things are possible within the the process management. And there is most of the times, maybe business requires some, they may identify a gap. So it's not necessary 100% they have to stick to the best practice content. Maybe they'll ask for a tweak in the business process, or maybe you want to build your own process. So that is also still possible. So there is an option called process authoring. So where if you go and check the process authoring, so it enables you to create your own process from the scratch. So if you are building a process out of the solution, out of the CALM, and somewhere in the Signavio, and if you want to upload it, if you want to integrate that with Signavio and CALM tool, as we were discussing some time ago, that can still be possible. There are multiple options you have. Either you can have it here, directly create a solution, or you can have it somewhere in other tool, you know integrate it. So now we are talking about requirements management as well. So this is a sequence how we are seeing, like, how each and every area is tightly integrated, right, from the scope to, process to requirement. Now we are trying to create a requirement and show you what are the functionalities underneath a requirement, requirement management have. So there are multiple ways to create a requirement. For the demonstration purpose, we are trying to create the requirements manually. But as I said, the requirements can be created while you are running through the fit to standard workshop. It can be directly tagged to a process, or you can create later manually. Say example, if you have captured the requirements somewhere in Excel sheet during your workshops, so those requirements can be created either manually here, or you can create through some template. Or if you see there are icons, arrows up and down, those can be uploaded automatically through flat files, through XML files. That can be done. Now we are just for the demo purpose, we are creating a requirement manually just to show you what are the different features available in the tool under the requirements section. Right. So just like how you created your task, similarly, you can create your requirement, give the detailed description, create and assign user stories. And you have seen the task management earlier. If you want to assign some of those tasks and tag those tasks here to this requirement, you can still tag those tasks, because your task has the person who is going to deliver it, the team who is going to deliver. So that can be assigned here. And of course, you can see there is a placeholder for you to create a test case and assign those test cases to the requirement. I think you now you are able to visualize how completely tightly integrated all these multiple processes, right? And if you look at this additional information about the requirement, right, so you have different options to manage this requirement. So usually you can create all these requirements in the CLM tool. Probably as a project manager, as a solution architect, you can just go to your change control board and open this tool and run through each requirement, and just get it ratified whether this requirement is approved or whether it is discarded, whatever it is. So those uh, you know discussions, decisions can be made during the change control board meetings. So there are, yeah, these are the different options you have in terms of the status, in terms of the approval status, in terms of the priorities, efforts, and of course the time boxes, what you wanted to manage. And as I said earlier also, this completely aligns with SAP Activate methodology, and it supports your sprint planning, and different it supports different releases. So if your project going in multiple releases, you can still segregate your requirements in different releases. So those are all completely possible during by using this tool when it comes to the requirements management. So we just created, we have shown what are the different features available in the requirements management, how best it can be leveraged or used by using this CALM application. So with this, we have try to show you like how the tasks are captured, tasks are shown, you displayed in the CLM application, and how the scopes are created, how the scope has to be baselined, and how the scope and your process management are tightly integrated. You can also create a new process within the tool if you wish to. You can tweak the processes, and for each process, how the requirements can be mapped, how the requirements be created, how the requirements can be traced. So we have seen all that. I think uh, business can expect any implementation, businesses can expect all these functionalities. I think this is one kind of a solution, one kind of an application where it can work as a scheduling tool and also the scope management tool, also requirements management tool. So all the functionalities, all the activities in order to achieve a successful project, whatever is required. So those are completely available in the CLM tool when it comes to the implementation. So with that, I am concluding the CLM implementation part. With this, I'll be handing over to my colleague Rakesh, who will help us to walk through on the operations side of the CLM.
You,
Sorry,
Mahesh.
Rakesh, 1 second. Over to you, Rakesh.
Thank you, Mahesh. It was a great insight into the implementation module of the Cloud ALM. Okay, let's look into the SAP Cloud ALM operations module. Okay, basically, what operations module of the Cloud ALM brings in, okay, compared to, if there are any other standalone monitoring features are available in the cloud, but what exactly it brings in is um, the main functionality of the Cloud ALM operations is it will provide you the full stack monitoring from the business and also into the technical aspects of from business side KPIs and performance and now technical monitoring and job monitoring. So all the functionalities from end to end it will provide for the complete full stack monitoring, right? The idea is to provide the business continuity along with the monitoring, right? This will provide you, we call it as a detect to correct process. Whereas, we have to identify the problems, identify the, problem proactively and detect those problems, within the system and route it to the proper routing channel and send it to the, for the problem resolution. The Cloud ALM will provide you the various functionalities coming to the problem detection area, such as business process monitoring, integration and exception monitoring, job and automation monitoring, health monitoring, real user monitoring, and synthetic configuration security analysis. So these are the various functionalities provided from the problem detection area. So whatever the issues or events that are identified in the system or in the cloud services, those are routed to the problem routing using the intelligent event processing. So and it will send you to the problem resolution area, whether you wanted to send it to the alert management to create an alert for the that issues are created or events created in the system. You can create an alert in the alert management. If you want to plan to send to the notification management, you can send it to the notification management. And there is, if you want to send all these issues and events to where you set up a dashboard like operation control center, and you can send those informations to the analytics systems, to see into the single view of the OCC dashboards. You can also, send that information to the operations automations, any third-party systems such as IRPAs, RPA tools to automate the issues that are occurring in the system. So, and other than that, you can also integrate the Cloud ALM with the third-party tools with the REST API. The Cloud ALM is providing their REST APIs to integrate to the third-party tools, such as if you wanted to create a ticket for the issues that are occurred in the system, you can create a ticket in the service now, and you can also integrate to the Jira. And if you want to send the chat message. I can also integrate to the Microsoft MS Teams and also to the analytics tools. So this is a complete, we call it as a detective correct process. That's so using this Cloud ALM tool, we can proactively detect the problems, and also it provide you a way to correct the, the issues that are occurring in the system. Next slide, please. Yeah, we'll see the use cases in detail about the functionalities that is providing into the operations module. The business process monitoring, as I mentioned, that it is providing the full stack monitoring. Coming to the business process monitoring, basically it will monitor your end-to-end business processes into the availability, or is there any disruptions in the business processes, and also the performance of the business process monitoring with the predefined KPIs. Let's say, for example, there are currently it will provide, there are out of the box KPIs are there, and those KPIs are monitored into a different categories such as throughput, backlog, and lead time, and automation rate and exceptions. For example, let's say you have a 10 warehouses that you're planning to get a 10 purchase orders in a week, but you see that you're getting like 100 or 200 purchase orders in a week. That means it is expecting more than what what is planned for. So that's kind of throughput issues you can use, monitor using the throughput categories. And you also know that for every business process, I have certain due dates, right? Let's say sales order, um, sales documents overdue for billing. Okay, so sales happen, and but the invoice is not created and due date is passed, which is a revenue loss for the organizations. So how many of those sales documents in the backlog, and you can see what happening and which sales org is having more sales documents overdue billing, that you can get to know using this business process monitoring backlog. There is another one is the lead time. Let's say, for example, you have the sales happen, and then it is planning to create the invoice creation. So how long time is taken for the sales to the invoice creation? You can see the lead time, and also PR to PO. Also you can see that. Other than and the integration monitoring, you can also see that there are integrations or messages across the different systems can be monitored in the integration exception monitoring. Job monitoring is basically to help you to monitor the critical jobs that are scheduled to process the business processes, and it will provide you the status of those. Health monitoring is basically, it is a technical monitoring. It's mostly for IT users. It will provide you the technical aspects of the systems, how the systems are performing in the technically. Their out of the box metrics are there. Real user monitoring is basically kind of reactive, what end users are facing the performance side, whether if the end users facing some issues, if it is a front end side issue, or DB is taking time or network time, so that can be monitored and find the root cause. Synthetic is basically to monitor the web applications, availability and performance of it. Even before users complains it will proactively monitor and react to it. Configuration security analysis also monitors with the predefined stores. So we will see that in the system demo to get an impression of these monitoring scenarios. Let's go to the demo of it. Well, this is the landing page of the Cloud ALM, where you see there are various services or functionalities are available, such as implementation, transformation, operations, and service. Right, our focus into the operations. In under the operations, there are various functionalities are available, as I said. And let's look into the business process monitoring tile. When I click on the business processing monitoring tile, it will open up the application. Now, as I mentioned, there are end-to-end business processes are available, such as lead to cash, source to pay, and recruit to retire, and then design to operate. So these are the end-to-end business processes are available. We can set up the thresholds for the each KPI. When you click on the lead to cash process, underneath there are sub processes are available, such as order to cash, and in which there are various KPIs are available. You see, there are open sales documents, or 510 open sales documents are there. And then, there are deliveries overdue for billing. There are 4 documents are overdue for billing. You can set up the thresholds for this particular KPIs to get a alert whenever disruption happen. And you see there are some alerts are happen, and you can also assign to the right stakeholder or process owner to work on that particular KPI issue, right? So this is how you can have the end-to-end monitoring and view of the business process execution using this business process monitoring application in the Cloud ALM. Let's look at the other monitoring, integration and exception monitoring. So integration exception monitoring will provide you the transparency on message exchanges between the systems. You see there are, Ariba and S4HANA systems are connected. Let's say, for example, you have created a purchase requisition in Ariba and you're expecting to purchase order to be processed in the S4HANA. And if there are any disruptions during the process and any messages are failure, you can able to see that. Let's look at the how many messages are in exception occurred in the last 7 days. We can also set up any time frame as you wish, but let me look into the last 7 days, how many messages are got failure. Well, I see there are 3 messages are failure. So why those got failure and what is the issue? We can analyze further into that. When I further drill down into that, I see that there is a message failure with the IDOC message failure with the, which is an inbound direction, and with the message type MBG MCR. If I further look into the particular message, I see that there is a a return code with the 51, which is an inbound in nature, and we can also see more information. Application data, like what is the basic type and message type of it. And also, the most interesting part is what is the reason for the failure is what we see there in the message. Okay, so that's the reason why the particular IDA got failure. When I go to the the topology information, I see there are more exceptions happen during the message processes. And the beauty is here, I can see there are a lot of gateway errors happen. You see there are exceptions evolution for the last 30 days and last 24 days and last 7 days. If I can go to the each individual exceptions to drill down, I can get more information such as collection context and correlation context and error context. So that you get to know where exactly the issue happened. Let's look into the health monitoring. As I mentioned, this is a more for of IT users to see the health of the systems. There are predefined metrics are available in the health monitoring. You can adapt and adjust threshold as per need. There are various systems are connected to it. Let's look into the S4HANA health here. I can see this overall health. There is a 99%, which is good. It's based on the red and yellow, and it will provide the percentage. I can see there are overview of the work process usage and the short terms. For HANA database, I can see this service status and memory related information. And also there is the ICM related information, ICM connections and gateway connections. Above batch jobs related information and operating system like CPU and memory and file system utilizations can be monitored using the out of the box metrics using the health monitoring type. The health monitoring is also have the embedded analytics feature to see the trend of the particular metric, so that it will help you to identify the root cause and also see at what point in time there is a spike and why it has got occurred. So that kind of analysis can be happen using this health monitoring. So we can also see where exactly happened with the correlation of the different layers like ABAP system and HANA and OS level. So 3 layers we can see the metrics and health of the systems. We can see the other module like job and automation monitoring. As I said, these these are jobs are very important for the smooth business process execution. This module will help you to monitor the overall status of the jobs, whether it is a execution status and application status, whether it is a cancelled, what is the status of it, it is a delay or runtime. Those information it will provide in centrally. When I further drill down, it will provide you the what is the start time and end time of the job and the status of the particular job. And further look into that information, I see there is a run ID is there, and also it will provide you the what is the report is being used. When I click on the run ID, it will take you to the backend system for further analysis. So as I said, this not only monitors the status of the job, but also provides the performance of the job, whether if you are expecting to run a job at 2 a.m. and if it is not running at the 2 a.m., so then it will provide you if there is any delay. And also if you're expecting to run a job in a 5 seconds, but it's running for an hour. So that kind of overrun jobs also can be monitored using this job monitoring. We can also see there are exceptions in the job and automation monitoring during the job execution. What all the exceptions occurred? What is the evolution of those jobs can be seen, and for the last 30 days to the 24 or 7 days. You can also drill down into the individual of those exceptions to see more information, and you can correlate that information to the other scenarios, like what exactly happened in the system, so you can correlate based on this information. Yeah, this is one of the useful information, the analysis a part of it. You can see what is the highest number of failures, or what is the highest number of executions happen in a particular job, and what is the average runtime of that particular job can be seen in the graphical view. You can also see the total number of executions that started, and also see based on the execution based on the rating. So there are most of them are green. Those can be seen from the job and automation monitoring. So yeah, so on the overall, all the functionalities of the Cloud ALM will be fully supported for the S/4HANA Cloud and S/4HANA systems, and the Cloud ALM is the perfect tool for for collaboration between the business and IT. Well, with this, I conclude the operations module. If you have any questions, please let us know. We'll take them.
Rakesh, thank you very much. And Mahesh, thank you for the previous demo. We do actually have some questions that have come in.
With this, I will stop screen sharing and we'll take the questions. Ali.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So our first question that's come in, what are the main differences between BPM in SAP Cloud ALM and SAP Signavio functionalities?
Okay, so
Which
I'll take up that.
Would like to take that? Okay,
yeah, I'll take up that, Lee. It's a very interesting question. So basically, the business process monitoring in the Cloud ALM is mostly focusing on the monitoring of the current business process with the predefined KPIs. But whereas the SAP Signavio is more focusing on the improvement of the business processes. But both solutions are using the same data source. So that is the main difference.
Okay, great. Very succinct. Thank you very much for that. Next question. Is Master Data Integration Service able to use SAP Cloud ALM integration monitoring so that master data distribution errors can be correlated? Who wants to take that one?
Yes, that is it's a more kind of operations related question. I will answer that. So the answer is for that we can able to handle that master data integrations using the Cloud ALM with the integration and exception monitoring. Yes, that's
okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. What happens when customers don't use integration monitoring? How do customers recognize issues and solve them?
Yeah, this is very interesting. As I mentioned, the Cloud ALM, provides the full stack monitoring, right? So without the integration monitoring, the customer would have to investigate the individual monitoring tools and logs of all involved components separately, which will, a cumbersome and time-taking tasks. So the Cloud ALM will provide you the full stack monitoring, and you don't need to, spend much time on individual components. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hopefully that answers that individual's questions. Next question is quite a lengthy one, so I don't know who's going to take this, but I'll give it a go. We are on a hyperscaler private cloud, and we want to onboard SAP Cloud ALM. Is there any cost we need to pay for that?
Okay, so I'll take this question only. Okay, so as long the SAP subscription is available with the customer, right? So whether it's a public or a private cloud, you don't have to pay any specific separate subscription cost for the CALM tool. So it is readily available for you within the bundle. Yeah, you don't have to pay anything separately for that.
Okay. Okay, so you don't have to pay for that. And would they have to pay for hosting if CLAM runs on a hyperscaler?
Yes, they may have to pay for the hosting charges, but they don't have to go for a separate subscription, but they may have to pay something for the hyperscalers.
Okay, that's great. There was two questions in one there. I hope you caught both of them, but thank you for answering that, Mahesh. In terms of the release cycles for CLAM, is it quarterly or will it be upgraded to every S4 Cloud version? That's another question that's just come in.
Okay. Basically, we know like S4 public cloud, there is a release, once in every half yearly, there are version changes, right? And there are, releases also happen frequently. But for CLM, the upgradations happen in the background. So it's very smart SAP does. So the background application upgradations happens automatically, but it doesn't really align with what S4 cloud upgradations are happening. If there are any changes happening in terms of the roadmap tasks or roadmap, kind of requirements, etc., then the SA will upgrade that align with the activate methodology or the roadmap tasks. But yeah, it doesn't not necessary that every release of the public cloud it has to upgrade. It's not required.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you very much for that. In the essence of time, there's one more question before we close the webinar, and that is, can we integrate test management of SAP Cloud ALM with on-prem solutions?
Yeah. So we discussed this even in our webinar during when we are talking about test suite. So yes, you can integrate SAP CLM test suite with any of your other on-prem or cloud test automation tools through APIs. It is possible.
Okay, so yes is the answer. That's great.
Yes.
Rakesh, Mahesh, thank you very much. That concludes the webinar for today. If anyone does have any more questions and we haven't managed to answer them all, then please reach out to us. We'll be sharing our email addresses. But yeah, thank you very much for joining and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.